Hello, friends. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Now, I will discuss what is physical quantity in today's class. So, let us see first what is physical quantity, the definition of physical quantity. So, the definition is a physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured and expressed by a numerical value and a unit. For example, length, mass. For example, length, mass, temperature, force, etc. etc. Now I will discuss about physical measurement. So, measurement is the process of comparing an unknown physical quantity with an accepted standard of the same kind. So, for example, we say a table is 2 meter long. This means we have compared its length with standard unit meter. Now we understand need for units. So let us talk about. Let us consider. Let us draw a line. Then let's. I see. I say that the length of this line is 2. Length is equal to 2. So one thing may come your in your mind that what is 2 means saying the length of this line is 2 has no meaning. So we need something that compare some small measure to this measurement, and that's a small measure or a standard measure is unit. So we to complete to uh, say the measurement of quantity, a physical quantity completely, we need two things: first number and second is unit. So we can conclude that a number alone cannot completely describe a physical quantity, a physical measurement. It must be accompanied by a unit. Now, I discuss what is a unit. A unit is fixed standard quantity used for measuring a physical quantity. So for example, the meter is a standard unit of length. So whenever we measuring in meters, we are comparing the unknown length with this standard unit meter. Suppose a rod is 3 meters long. It means 3 times the standard length. The length of rod is 3 times of the standard unit of length. So measurement is essentially comparison with a standard unit. Now question is, who decide that what should be the standard unit? So there is an international committee for weights and measures, and they decide how much length is 1 meter and what should be a standard unit of different physical measurements. Since different people could use different standards, so scientists agreed upon a common system of units called International Systems of Units. So the international system of units decide what quantity would be standard units. For example, meter, kilogram for weight, liter for volume. But we know that there exist a very large number of physical quantities. This means the unit should be number of units should be very large. Not this is not correct. Actually, the number of units is limited. Although the number of physical quantities appears to be very large, we need only a limited number of units for expressing all the physical quantities. So, how do we measure all quantities with limited units? Actually, all all other quantities are interrelated with one another, so we express the units of those quantities in terms of limited units. So the units for the fundamental base quantities are called fundamental base units. So there are two type of quantities. First is uh, fundamental quantities or fundamental units, sorry, fundamental units. There are two types of units for measuring all physical quantities. First is fundamental or base units. Base units. The units for fundamental or base quantities are called fundamentals or base units. There are seven fundamental or base units. These are like this: length, and unit of length is meter, mass, kilogram, time, second, electric current, ampere, temperatures, Kelvin, amount of substance, mole, and luminous intensity, candela. So these are only seven fundamental units, and other units are derived units. So let's see what is derived units. The units of all other physical quantities can be expressed as combinations of base units. Such units obtained for the derived quantities are called derived units. For example, we can take velocity. Velocity is a derived physical quantity, and we all know velocity is equal to displacement by time. For unit of velocity we will write display unit of displacement is meter, and unit of time is second. So the unit of velocity is meter per second. Now we will talk about international system of units. Actually, In earlier times, scientists of different countries were using different systems of units for measurements. For example, we can take CGS units, FPS units, and MKS units. And these units were in use extensively till recently. So we can there are three types of international systems of units. First is CGS, in which the unit of length is centimeter and unit of mass is gram and unit of time is second. And second is FPS, in which foot, pound, second. And third is MKS, in which meter, kilogram, second. Thank you.